I never believed in ghosts, or curses, or anything that couldn't be explained. Logic was my compass. Reason was my shield. Until the voicemail arrived. It was just past midnight. My phone buzzed. A number I knew. My own. I frowned. A glitch, I thought. Maybe the carrier. Nothing more. I pressed play. A voice. Familiar. Mine, but distorted. Faint, like it had traveled through water and static. "Don't trust the shadows," it said. A pause. Then, "You will see tomorrow." Tomorrow? I laughed. A technical error. Impossible. Ridiculous. The knot in my chest didn't loosen. The night stretched. The walls felt closer. The shadows deeper. Morning came. I tried to convince myself it was nothing. I went to work. And yet, the air felt wrong. The silence louder. Then the papers fell. A stack from my shelf. No wind. No one in the room. The shadows moved, and I froze. I didn't answer my phone. I didn't check messages. I couldn't. But it rang again. New voicemail. Same number. Same distorted voice. "You saw it, didn't you?" The whisper crawled under my skin. "You cannot ignore what is coming." Panic replaced reason. Every shadow felt alive, watching, waiting. The walls seemed to breathe. The third message arrived at 2:13. I hesitated, then pressed play. "Do not leave your house tonight, or you will not leave at all." I laughed. I tried to rationalize, but each creak of the floorboards, each flicker of light made my heart hammer. By evening, I barricaded the doors, windows locked, lights on, phone in hand, every vibration a threat, every notification a countdown. I paced the apartment. Minutes felt like hours, seconds like eternity. The walls whispered my name. The shadows stretched further. The air grew colder. Then came the final message. Timestamp, tomorrow. Length, 0:03 seconds. I listened. My own voice again. Clear, calm. "You are not alone. Look behind you. It is closer than you think." I dropped the phone, heart hammering, hands shaking. I turned slowly. Nothing. Yet the room had changed. The air was thick, heavy, pressing against my chest. The shadows shifted. I tried to sit, to breathe, to ground myself, but reality slipped. The line between nightmare and truth disappeared. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. I could not tell. The clock ticked louder. The shadows crept closer. The room whispered secrets I could not hear. The phone rang once more. Same number, same distorted tone. I did not pick up. I could not. I waited, my breath shallow, my pulse deafening. The darkness alive, every shadow a threat. Then finally, I understood. The voice had been guiding me, preparing me, warning me. Sleep if you can, because some messages arrive before the end, and sometimes the shadows follow. Even when the lights come on, even when you close your eyes, even when you think you are safe, stay awake, because tonight it may call you next. I felt the cold skin through my thin neoprene gloves, 25 feet below the world, staring at a dead man's boot. I wasn't alone, not in that darkness, not in that freezing tomb. Before I tell you how it ended, you need to understand the path that led me into the abyss. It was Northern Europe, midwinter, the Blackwood Quarry,
a jagged, flooded wound carved into the earth, abandoned in the 50s, left to rot, left to drown. The water was stagnant, opaque, and vast, a place where light went to die. I was 24 years old, possessed by a dangerous kind of confidence. I had my advanced certification, but I was still a guest in the deep. My mentors were Marcus and Silas, men made of iron and salt, legends in the technical diving world. They wanted to test me. They wanted to see if I would crack. Leadership, Marcus had said, is a heavy burden underwater. He was right, more than he knew. The sky above was a sheet of lead, the air was biting, but the water was worse. We descended into the mouth of the quarry. Visibility was an insult to the senses, like liquid ink, a swirling soup of gray silt. My flashlight beam was a pathetic sliver, cutting through the muck for barely 5 feet before being swallowed by darkness. Total extinction of light. I was clipped to the guideline, a thin neon yellow nylon thread, my only connection to the living world, my only way home. We sank deeper, the temperature dropped instantly. My suit squeezed against my skin as pressure began its slow, merciless crawl. 10 feet, 20, 30. Green faded into sickly gray. Gray collapsed into dead black. The silence down there had weight. It pressed against my skull. It screamed in my ears without making a sound. In, out, in, out. The hiss of my regulator was deafening, like a giant's labored breath. I followed the line with my left hand while my right held the light, scanning constantly. We were moving towards sunken machinery, rusted skeletons from a forgotten era. Silt swirled around my mask like ghosts. Every shadow felt like a reaching hand. Every piece of debris felt like a threat. I checked my pressure gauge. My heart was beating too fast. Calm, focus, breathe. Then my light hit something that didn't belong to the rust. A boot. A black army boot, heavy, leather, wedged into the opening of a sunken container. The container itself was a rusted iron box, a tomb within a tomb. The boot looked wrong. It wasn't buried in silt. It wasn't rotted by time. It looked fresh, as if the owner had just stepped into the dark. My heart hammered against my ribs. A chill crawled through me, unrelated to the water. Curiosity is a death sentence in the abyss, but I couldn't look away. I reached out, my hand trembling, and grabbed the heel of the boot. I expected it to lift easily, light, empty. It didn't move. It was anchored, heavy with a terrible weight. I pushed my light further into the rusted opening. The beam crawled up the leather to a pant leg, thick, dark denim soaked with the history of the quarry. I followed it upward, my breath turning short and jagged. Then the second leg appeared. Both legs were tangled in cables, fixed in place, lifeless. A body was stuffed inside that container. A man, left in crushing silence, staring forever into the silt. Panic hit me like a physical blow. My vision blurred. The edges of my mask felt like they were closing in. I didn't think. I didn't analyze. I reacted on pure animal instinct. I grabbed the guideline with both hands and shook it violently, desperately. The universal signal for a nightmare. Get me out. Get me up. The ascent was chaos, bubbles everywhere. Silt exploded into a blinding cloud. Every second stretched into torture. I expected a hand, cold and gray, multi-jointed, reaching from that iron box to grab my ankle and pull me back. I felt pressure tearing at my ears. I didn't care about decompression. I just wanted air. We broke the surface like breaching animals. I ripped my mask off as cold air stabbed my lungs. I screamed, "There's a man down there, inside the container!" Marcus and Silas stared at me, their faces calm, professional. They thought it was narcosis, the rapture, a hallucination born from depth and fear. But they looked into my eyes. They saw the terror, the shaking. This wasn't nitrogen. This was real. We sat on the frozen bank in silence. The water lay flat and secretive. "We have to go back," Silas said. "We don't leave anyone behind, even a ghost." The second descent was worse. The water felt thicker, the cold sharper, every shadow a limb, every pipe a reaching arm. Marcus took the lead. He reached the iron container and didn't hesitate, swimming straight inside. Silas and I hovered outside, our lights dancing across rusted metal. We waited. Marcus's bubbles were the only sign of life. Then he emerged, slow and methodical, never looking back. He signaled us to surface. On shore, the world felt empty and gray. Marcus sat on a rusted crate and removed his gear. "Search and rescue," he quietly said. "Local team, training drill, body recovery in low visibility." He looked at the water, a bitter smile crossing his face. They left their guest behind, an anatomically correct rubber dummy, weighted with lead, dressed in real gear. They'd stuffed it in the container for safekeeping, gone for lunch, and never came back before the snow started. Silas laughed, short and dry. "Hell of a test to pass, kid." I didn't laugh, because down there, that body was real. The weight was real. The cold in my fingers was real. I don't dive in quarries anymore. I don't lead the line. I stay in the sunlight, because I know the truth now. In the dark, in the silence, everything is real until you open your eyes. And sometimes, even after you open them, the weight remains. Sleep well and watch the deep.